If you see one of these things happen on screen, prepare for the worst. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 signs that a character is going to die. For this list, we're looking at those clues that tend to foreshadow a character's impending death, either in TV or film. Be warned, there will be some spoilers from popular films and series here. Number 10, the Tagalong or third wheel. Also known as the red shirt, this character's sole narrative purpose is to die for the most part. They allow for the filmmaker to show how powerful and dangerous the main villain is without having to kill off a major character.
Winston! Hey, Winston!
The term actually comes from the original Star Trek television series, where those who wore red shirts tended to die, usually after tagging along with the main crew. So, if you see the major characters attempting to take on the main villain or exploring some unknown land, expect the minor character in the group to bite the dust.
Even I don't know what it does. You want to find out?
Number 9, they're retiring soon. Nobody retires in movies, especially if they're a cop, pilot, or soldier. Time and time again, we hear characters say that they only have 2 more weeks until retirement, or that they just need to go on one last mission before they hang up their boots for good.
I've only got 2 weeks, but it's not fair to whoever's coming up here next.
These characters pretty much never make it. Given that they are about to retire, they tend to be older characters, and thus their deaths imbue our main characters with a greater drive to accomplish whatever it is they need to do to ensure that so-and-so did not die in vain.
Got me a future, partner. I'm 2 days away from retirement. My daughter's graduating from college.
Little Susie's growing up.
And as soon as we nail Mendoza, my old lady and I are gonna sail around the world like we always wanted. We just christened the boat. Oh, yes, sir. Everything's gonna be just perfect.
Number 8, they're a soldier with someone waiting back home. Similar to our previous entry, but with its own uniquely cruel twist, this tends to apply to soldiers who are fighting far away from their loved ones.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
At one point, they mention that they have someone waiting for them back home, and usually have a photo that they pass around of said person.
Sarah's headed off to nursing school next month. She sewed that herself.
It's beautiful.
And that's it. From the moment the photo comes out or the name gets dropped, these characters are largely doomed. Unlike the red shirt who tends to die early on in the film, this character usually makes it until the climactic battle, making their death all the more painful to watch.
Die!
Number 7, they have crucial information that they'll only share in person.
You see me in hell, Mr. Thorne? There we will share out our sentence.
This is a popular trope in horror films and thrillers. A character has found out a crucial piece of information that is vital to the success of whatever the main characters in the movie are trying to achieve. They then typically try to call the main character to relay this information, but for whatever reason do not manage to touch base or opt to go for the "I can only tell you in person" approach.
Don't let it end this way, Captain.
This never works out well for said character, as the killer almost always dispatches of them before they're able to tell anyone.
Tune's destroyed. Why?
If I tell you I'm a dead man.
You're a dead man if you don't tell me.
Unless Acme's will shows by midnight tonight, Toontown's gonna be live with a freak.
Number 6, they're happy and everything is going well. If things seem too good to be true, they probably are. After all, what is a movie or TV show without some form of conflict? No one wants to watch a film where everything goes well for the main character and stays that way throughout. It may not necessarily be the main character who bites the dust, but rather someone else close to them for whom things have finally started to work out.
But then we don't always get our just desserts.
In television, however, particularly in shows like Game of Thrones, the main characters are never safe, especially when they seem truly happy.
Say her name. Say it!
Elia Martel.
Number 5, the character redeems themselves. Everyone loves a redemption story. Someone who's made a few mistakes in life or gone down the wrong path only to realize the error of their ways. Often, however, this act of redemption costs them their own life.
Father. I won't leave you.
From a strictly functional standpoint, this is often because the villain has redeemed themselves to the hero, but the general public will never be able to forgive them for their past actions.
When you're across safe, I'll jam the throttle and follow you.
Regardless, if the villain all of a sudden changes their tune, don't expect them to be around for much longer. Number 4, the character says, "I'll hold them off." Our heroes have made a valiant stand, but are about to be overrun by their enemy. Things look extremely bleak until one brave soul throws out the line, "I'll hold them off." This action allows the other main characters to escape, but with very few exceptions, means the demise of the brave speaker.
Billy, let's go!
Whether it's a question of numbers, timing, or an assailant simply too powerful for a single individual to overcome, the odds are fatally stacked against them. Of course, their sacrifice paves the way for the hero to defeat the villain at the end of the film. Number 3, the character is a huge jerk.
Gaston, you are positively primeval.
Why, thank you, Belle. What do you say you and me take a walk over to the tavern and take a look at my trophies?
Maybe some other time.
If a character is constantly antagonizing other characters on screen, it's a safe bet that they won't make it to the end credits. These characters may be smart, handsome, or even charming to some, but they tend to be extremely self-centered and completely unaware of how they're perceived. While this may not be surprising in a villain, the jerk can also be one of the main protagonists.
Let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little f***ed up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Luckily, they pretty much always get their comeuppance in the end, much to the satisfaction of the characters on screen and the viewers watching. Filmmakers are cruel, but they know what cinema-goers want to see.
They even shot Tommy in the face, so his mother couldn't give him an open coffin at the funeral.
Number 2, the character suddenly gets substantial development. This is usually found in television, but can also occur in film franchises.
Now, what is a pretty little highborn girl like you doing out here in the deep dark woods, eh? You left your daddy's castle looking for trouble, didn't you?
It's usually a secondary or even tertiary character who, up until this point, hasn't really had all that much to do. If suddenly they have an entire episode focusing on them or become a more important character, there is a good chance they're going to be killed off.
For a moment there, I thought you were going to let it get me. For a moment, so did I. Some game, huh? Some game.
This is usually because the show or film wants us to develop a stronger connection with the character to make it more upsetting when they're gone.
Who are you? What do you want? Kill the stag! Avada
I would like to add the "I'll be right back" trope to this. You know, when a character goes to investigate something by themselves like an idiot and then they get murdered because of course they do. Anyway, we'll get to the number 1 huge giveaway that indicates you should start mentally preparing for a goodbye, but first, let's look at a couple of honorable mentions.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? Didn't Mommy and Daddy show you enough attention when you were a child?
For England, James? No. For me.
Okay, Linda. Come on out.
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1, 2 characters just shared an emotional moment. Part of what makes an effective character death is the emotion behind it.
It has to be me. It has to be me. I can save today, you could save the world.
It's much more powerful if both the audience and other characters have some sort of emotional connection to them before they die. As such, filmmakers tend to kill off a character following an emotional moment, good or bad. Perhaps the character has confessed their love for another, a long feud has been resolved, or a parent and their child have just been reunited.
Pick up! Son! Dad! No!
Whatever the circumstances, following a sweet emotional moment, watch for the other shoe to drop.
How you doing, dummy?
Better. Now I see your ugly face.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.